Hi everyone, I'm Mike and this is the Sunday Art Show. Hi everyone, today I'm going to take you through how to create a sheep painting in quite a short amount of time. Whoop, and there goes my cat, so let me just let him out of the studio. So as you can see, I've got some mixed media paper here and I've put down a layer of light blue acrylic paint, and that's going to act as our background for the drawing. So the next step is I'm going to use acrylic paint markers for this particular picture. So I'm going to take a Prussian blue, just a small marker, and I'm going to put down some initial lines to just indicate the position of the sheep on the page. So let's see how that goes. So we'll start out with the top of the head, put in a little bit of an indication of the right hand and left hand ears, then the rough positions of the head and neck of the animal. And I'm not really interested in putting down the entire shape of the animal here. I just want an indication of the amount of space that this sheep is going to occupy on our paper. So it's quite a fluffy and puffy sheep, so good fun to draw. And there's the body more or less complete, so we just need to draw in the legs. That leg could do with being a little bit longer, I think. There we go, so we've got a sheep in our field. I'll just put in a little horizon line here, as if the sheep is standing on top of a hill. And then the next thing to do is block in this animal with some mid-tone. So for that I'm going to select I've got either a yellow oxide, or I could go with yellow ochre. Let's try yellow oxide. I haven't actually used this paint before, so let me just prime the nib. So this may take a minute. There we go, so the pen's all primed. And this colour actually seems to be quite close to yellow ochre actually, so that's good, works out well in both ways. And what I'm going to do now is just block in most of the wool. I think I have a bit of a habit of calling the wool on sheep fur, but I must get out of that. Anyway, let's block in nearly did it again. Block in the wool on the animal, and the idea here is simply to put down a nice mid-tone. And as you can see, because we're putting down acrylic paint, it really does cover the background rather well. So you can, if you wish, more or less obliterate everything that's gone before. Okay, but I think that's enough yellow oxide for now. So I'm going to let that dry. That'll take a minute or two. And then I'm going to come back and put in some regions of deeper shadow. But in fact, now that I think about it, while the paint is drying, I may as well block in the field. I'm using a fluorescent green to do this. And I'm just putting that directly on top of the blue background. So we'll just fill in the hill, and because this is just a short demonstration, I'm just going to use one colour for the field. But obviously, if I was working this painting up to completion, grass, as you know, it's not entirely just one colour of green. It's a whole range of different colours, and I would include those in the final painting under circumstances where I had a bit more time. Okay, so the paint isn't quite dry, but I'm just going to go ahead anyway with my burnt umber and put in some dark shadow regions as appropriate. So in particular, there are deep shadows on the underside of the sheep, and these little patches on the forelegs are also quite dark. And then we need to indicate an element of shadow, an element of cast shadow underneath the sheep here. And now I'm going to switch to a gold marker to just bring a bit of variety of colour to the wool and add a little iridescence as well. And I think I'm going to put some of that on the right hand side of the sheep's face as well, and on the ears. And perhaps even some along the front of the chest. So that's starting to take shape now. We will switch to some blue. This is some brilliant blue. Last time for the sky I used light blue permanent. This is brilliant blue I'm going to use now. And this is another marker that I need to prime. So once again, this will take a minute. Oh, in fact, I just realised I have a smaller brilliant blue marker. So I'm going to use that to block in some areas which eventually will be white or near white on the sheep. Although I will be leaving some of the blue present because that will act as a shadow. So we're just going to start to include some more expressive lines here. Start to create a sense of texture on the animal. And I'll use that same blue on the legs. Now we need some white to pick out some highlights. So let's do that along the tops of the ears, where the wool is catching the light. Some parts of the face. Top of the back. It's really catching the light down the left-hand side of the front of the sheep. And the left edge of the forelegs. Both of them, in fact. And the rear leg also that's showing there. And just very lightly now, just some more indications of texture on the side of the animal. And then we're almost there now. A few lines here. Now I just want to put a couple more details in on the face, and then this should be pretty much done. Switching now to a dioxazine purple, I'm going to use this to put in the final areas of deep shadow and pick out some of the key features on this sheep, including the indication of an eye there. There's some quite deep shadow on the left of the face. We need a couple of nostrils so the poor thing can breathe. a mouth, and we need another eye up here. And having put those dark regions in, I'm just going to use the white again just to soften them slightly while the paint is still wet.